What's up, Internet? We are back with more SD card browser on my bizarre N64 multi-card. That's flash card, that's neither but both. It's complicated. Last time we took a look at a duplicate game in Rally Challenge, and that was disappointing. Some Rampage games which were okay. Rat Attack, which was very, very weird. And Rayman 2, which I don't have a great memory of, but a lot of people say it's good, so maybe I need to give it another go. Anyway, this time we're trying Revolt. I'm not familiar with this game, but I've seen, like, I know it came out on the Dreamcast, and I know people speak pretty highly of Revolt. It seems to be by acclaim. That's not a great thing in my eyes, but let's manage without... I don't want to manage my control pack. Let's start the race. I'm not having any audio on my end, so I hope there's audio in somewhere here. Start the race. Console. Let's say console, because that's what we're doing. We're player 1. Player 1 is end. Now let's see. RC Bandit. Dust Mite. The Fat Slug. Spell the PH so you know they mean business. Colonel Moss. The Harvester. Dr. Grudge. Vulcan Turbo. Ooh, that looks quite sexy. The Sprinter XL. I think we gotta go with that Sprinter XL. That looks quite whizzy. Oh, yeah. Alright, Toys in the Hood 1. Okay, you get points for that joke. Let's go. Let's do Toys in the Hood. I've never actually seen Boys in the Hood, I don't think, but that was a reference I didn't expect to see today. Okay, that's annoying. What button do things? A is accelerate, got it. Okay, so it's... Whoa, okay, this is a bit slippy. It might be because of the car I picked, though. Oh, hey, there's like a first-person mode. That's way too close. That's a nice camera. Oh! Okay, so I'm playing around with... There seem to be pickups and power-ups. I think I just lost the one I picked up, though. I guess I'm second. I don't really know where I'm going. The areas look a lot open. Like, there's a lot of different, like, routes and stuff you could... Ooh, big jump, and I missed it. Oh, I got a shield. Right on. I think I gotta follow, like, that little arrow in the lower corner. That's a bit awkward. I think if you're gonna... If your racing game needs to have something like that arrow to explain to people where they need to go, that's, first of all, a sign you've probably done something wrong, but also having it there might make it a little awkward. I'd make it sort of more prominent, like Crazy Taxi style, where it'd be like directly top center, giving you like a live play-by-play sort of thing. Still, you know, it's not bad. I'm not sure there's really much to commentate over, though. It's RC car racing. I will say my car does feel pretty slippy. I think after this race I'll try swapping it, just to see if I can find one that's a little less slippery. But we're in third so far, and considering I have no idea where I'm going or what I'm doing, I think third is okay. It's respectable. I missed hitting him with that garbage bag. Whoa! Whoa! There's a lot of information on this UI. I wonder if there's a way to clean that up. Like, I don't need best lap, last lap, lap, race. I don't need to know the difference in value between Colonel Harvester and Colonel Moss or whatever. Like, I feel like this is it's a bit cluttered for a UI for something like this, I think. Oh, can I... Secrets! Hell yeah. I do like the secrets, but I feel like the UI is too cluttered and it's not necessarily well optimized for what it needs to do. That's really my biggest issue so far. But, you know, it seems pretty fun. Whoa! Although I'm not really hearing much music. I'm hearing the sound of like the car engine, but that's about it. Well, I'm also got like my audio on super low, so maybe I'm just not hearing it. Woo! I'm losing stability on my car control here. Okay, so someone's already passed the go, so to speak. Do not pass go. That's the first rule of Monopoly. Oh, whatever. I haven't played Monopoly in forever. I played Monopoly Junior when I was a kid. I just remember it had bumper cars in it, and that's why I liked it. I would like to quit and try a different card. Yes. That card was a bit slippy. So let's try a different one. Start race. Single race. Console. That'll be fine. Okay, let's try something that's got a bit more weight behind it. That one might be good, Dr. Grudge. Yeah, that one's all acceleration. But if you have more weight, that's four-wheel drive, which, if that actually affects things, should make it slightly more versatile. Alright, let's try Supermarket 2. Presumably there's a Supermarket 1 at some point. That's an annoying... Oh yeah, this controls a lot smoother. I think I like this better. So it really was just a... If nothing else, it was a weight thing, but it might also be like a drivetrain type of thing. Alright. Whoa! Okay, let's avoid that nonsense. Oh, want to go outside the loading dock, it looks like. That's cool. I'm not sure I like 100% like the design of the maps, so to speak. Oh, I don't want to go that way. Like, there are stuff like that that feels like it's useless information that's really just there to kind of get you off track. And there's like little bits of stuff jutting out that you're just going to get caught on and waste time. That's concerning to me. Also, that was some good air. Like right here, the walls to that entrance jut out. Which actually means that you could get caught on them if you overshoot, which is really not good. Okay, so let's be real gentle with that turning. I've got a lock-on missile. I need to use it. Okay. Still, this game isn't too bad. I can see why it would be fondly remembered. I'm not sure I necessarily agree that it's a great game. But so far, you know, I think it's decent. Okay, let's try a different racetrack. Quit. Yes, really. Resume just takes me to the thing that shows me my results. I don't need that. Just move on to the next thing. Let's try a different vehicle. So, rear wheel drive. I think four-wheel drive, assuming that the transmission is actually important. So let's try Harvester. That seems to have a little bit better. That is a banana with wheels. Let's... Ooh, Botanical Garden, let's go. Okay. I think this is probably the last race, but... Something about Rumble Pack, I really dislike this start screen, it's just obnoxious. Whoa, that's really slippery. Okay, so maybe with that medic vehicle I was just doing really comparatively well. Let's see if I can... audio settings, first of all, SFX volume. Yeah, let's turn that down, crank the music a little bit. Next, let's quit, and I'm going to go back to that white medic van, and we'll see what that's all about. Because maybe that slipperiness I was feeling was like a one-off thing, and going back to this, it'll be just as slippery, because that yellow banana vehicle felt very slippery there. Oh, that feels so much better not having to deal with that. No, this vehicle just feels a lot less slippery by comparison. So maybe this is just the vehicle that drives really well for me and my playstyle. Whoa. Okay, I'm pressing go. Why are you not going? Oh, okay, this game would really benefit from a better frame rate. I'm not gonna lie. It's very choppy. If you can get... What does that mean? Exclamation points don't tell me anything, game. If you can get past the awkward frame rate, this would actually be a really quite good game, I think. I think the cars could stand to be a little bit less slippery and it could be a little less touchy, but you know, I found that this vehicle tends to work pretty well for how I... Okay, so that's okay. But yeah, I think this could be a pretty solid game. Maybe not this version, like the Dreamcast version probably runs a lot better. And I'm sure there's probably a PC port of this. That's probably the actual go-to. Whoa, okay, yeah, again, it's like a freaking slideshow. I'm in dead last right now. This would not be the version of this game I would recommend playing. I think if you could get a version of this that actually runs relatively smoothly, you'd have a pretty decent game. Someone's already finished. Still, you know, I'm having all the trouble in the world with this game, but I think this is actually pretty fun. And if I could actually get a proper handle on this, I think this would be a fun game worth investing some more time in. But that was an embarrassingly bad showing, as, you know, presenter curse often brings, and my own ineptitude. But either way, that wasn't too bad. So what's the next game we're going to do? The next game is going to be Ready to Rumble Boxing. Okay. I know this game was a launch title for the Dreamcast, and it was the thing you could have played if you didn't get Blue Stinger. You'll never guess which one of those two games I've got, but it rhymes with I have Blue Stinger and it's terrible. Thinking about doing it as a Halloween game, because it is ostensibly kind of horror-themed. And if nothing else, playing it's a very horrific experience. Alright, so let's do some arcade mode boxing. One player. Who are we playing as? I'm pretty sure Afro Thunder is like the poster child for this series. We have Raging Riviera. Tank Thrasher, that's a good name. Celine Strike. Jet Iron Chin, Rocket Samche, Furious Faz, Lulu Valentine. Oh, I have to admit, I do love the handlebar mustache. That is a solid stash. I kind of like Tank Thrasher for just his name. We'll go with good old handlebar mustache, because truly the gentleman's pugilism style. You need to have a stylish mustache like that. That is a great haircut, though. Fighting for 10th place in Silver Class. I have no idea what the controls are. Let's go. It ain't A to do anything. Okay, so B is to Dempsey roll. Got it. Oh, okay, so punching is C left. Okay, so basically spam the C buttons is what I'm getting out of this. I'm taking a lot of damage, though. This is bad. What? Oh, okay. Ow. So button mash all the buttons to get up. Ow. Okay, so when it tracks rumble, it's for both sides of the fight. Got it. Okay. Like, I'm not gonna say I like this game, but I can see why people would. I don't think this is a game that really gels all that much with me. But again, I'm not really into this whole sport nonsense stuff. So let's back off, gain some energy. I wonder if these characters have different stats. Like, because I feel like I'm wasting a lot more energy, whereas this guy isn't. Okay, so let's back off. Let's back off. I don't know how to do that, but I had unlocked it, but I guess I didn't get it. It's definitely playing with like punch-out rules, where if you get knocked out, it's harder to get up each time. I've not been able to knock him down once. That's not a great start. I think that's probably it for me. Yeah, that's a TKO, I guess. Let's try playing as a different character and see if the stats change, because I'm curious if there is like a statistical difference. Let's go. Actually, options. Is there a skill level medium? Can I see controllers? Okay, so yeah, it's basically all C buttons. Okay. So yeah, it's spam all the C buttons ever to do stuff. One player. Okay, so let's try Tank Thrasher, because that's a great name. And I knew someone who looks exactly like this guy. 108. Dude has been around for a while. Okay. This guy moves really fast for being such a big guy. Ow. Well, it doesn't feel like I'm going down as fast as I did in the previous round. So it could be that the person I was fighting was just, you know, faster on his feet, maybe? I'm not sure I dig the whole everything is controlled with the C buttons move. I don't like this. Nice pugilizing. Now I'm gonna bop you one. Ow. Did we just skip to the second round? That was weird. I don't know if that was intentional, but it was very strange. Just gonna back up. Punch, 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 punch. Come on. I am not very good at this game. I do appreciate that the characters do seem to have visible damage on their... What? Why did we just jump to... Okay. I'm not sure I like the way this game is structured. Like, the teleporting between scenes, like, instantaneously feels a little bit weird and off. But... I don't like the whole control layout at all, really. And I feel like I'm just... There's something I'm just missing that the computer seems to have on me. There we go. Got to knock you down once.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And now I'm down. Alas. Actually, what's worse is I now have to play the sequel to this, which I doubt I'm going to be any better at. But it's interesting to try all these games, because otherwise I wouldn't play them. I know Ready to Rumble does have its following, but I don't like fighting games. Well, I like fighting games. I'm no good at them, but I don't like sports games. And this does feel... It's stylized, but it still feels like it's kind of trying to be kind of goofy simulation, somewhat, you know? Either way. Let's try Ready to Rumble 2, the re-rumblering. And let's rumble again. Okay, more Midway stuff. I've been playing a lot of Midway stuff tonight. Okay, let's see if there's... Okay, so the menu's basically identical. Controls seem to be basically identical. I'm gonna set this to easy just to see if I can actually beat someone. Because I have no faith. Okay, so we've got some returning characters. Some new characters. Johnny Blocko. Oh, I think that's a bunch of O's, but they're overlapped, which is not great design. Also, that looks kind of vaguely like Karnov. Hey, this guy's back, and he looks cheerier than ever. Also, why are there only 2 women now? I remember there being like 3 in the previous one. Alright. That guy has big shorts, and they jiggle. The shorts jiggling is really what this game sold for. Oh, this does not run at a stable frame rate. It's very choppy. Okay, well, I'm doing better than I did in the previous game. Now, that very well might be because I set it to easy, though. So, you know, if we do win this, let's set it back to normal and see what happens.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Alright. I still have no idea how to, like, do a special ability. Am I just supposed to let the meter fill up and then it does it on its own? Or am I supposed to press all the... Wow, you just ate shit. Yeah, I think we're going to have to set this on medium and see what happens. It could be that the previous game was just set a little bit harder than this game. Maybe. Or it could be I just picked a really awkward character to use. I don't know. I don't know what that was, but it was certainly something. You played about as well as I did in the previous game, friend. Also, I could hit you while you were falling down. I kind of appreciate that. Okay, so let's set this to medium and see what happens. So, quick game. I'll pick the same character just to see if it's a difficulty thing or if I just picked a character that plays better for me. Who knows? So arcade mode, 1 player, and then I used the lady with the purple hair. Same starting guy with the shaky pants. So let's see if this is significantly harder for me. Because it could be that the previous game was just set harder, maybe? Ow. Okay, yeah, this is significantly more difficult on medium. I'm thinking this is... If I were to make a guess, I'm betting this is probably, like, trained to actually be relatively accurate to the arcade in terms of difficulty, which would explain some things. I have no health, because I did not charge any of that. Whoops. But yeah, this guy is significantly harder than he was before. And he's the same opponent. We're using the same character, so really the only difference should ostensibly be the, I don't like that teleporting instantly. Like, there should be, like, a brief cooldown between rounds, just so like, you get immediately more comfortable with the fact you get reset to the other side of the room. But yeah, I think there's just a huge difficulty spike on medium. Like, easy is definitely way too easy, without a doubt, but it feels like medium not only makes them faster, but it makes them almost like their abilities to, like, take priority and have the same inputs as you. I don't know. I feel like the difficulty on that isn't balanced as well as it could be. I think that's its greatest flaw. I think without that, it would actually be probably a pretty fun game. Our next game, de jour, is going to be Resident Evil 2. A game I'm not terribly familiar with. I'm actually more familiar with the knockoff of Resident Evil 2, Deep Fear. But that's because I'm a Saturn guy. You know, I'm not... Also, you'll notice it's taking forever to load. It's because Resident Evil 2 is a huge game. Even though everything could run this. Including the Gamecom. The Gamecom had a version of Resident Evil 2. Which is kind of amazing when you think about it, because it was the Gamecom. And my cat wants out, so now I gotta deal with that. But... I don't know. Like, I've just never been the biggest Resident Evil fan ever. Again, I had a lot of fun with the knockoff one, but, you know, actual Resident Evil, not that interested. Okay. Pick Leon, always. Violence. Blood color. Is there a rainbow blood option? No? I guess we're using blue. Could use red, but blue is interesting. Not too many games have blue raspberry blood. Hey, it's that face from that scene, what is often butchered in every version of Resident Evil minus the Sega Saturn Japanese version. Hooray. That's actually a relatively nice FMV for the N64. Credit where credit's due. I'm going to skip this because we're going to actually get to some game at some point. Oh god! Tank controls. Not a big fan of that. But that's these games. Get off me now, please. Run. Run, 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 run. I don't want to be around you. What's the button to do things? Okay, so aim is R. Attack is what? R plus C up, I think? What is this menu? Okay, so I think blue is attack, which would be A. So let's try it. Yeah, A is... Okay, the way they've laid out that menu is awful and confusing, but we managed to escape somewhat. Oh, okay, there was a weird flicker there, but that's fine. Run! Get out of the way, I'm trying to flee. Can't you see? Gun shop. Save me, gun shop. Give me all the guns. And possibly all the shop.
Freeze! Who are you? What are you doing?
Kind of admit that the characters actually look relatively good for the N64. Like, I wouldn't think the N64 could pull this kind of stuff off. The fact that it could do Resident Evil 2 in any capacity is quite impressive.
Sorry about that. I thought you were one of them.
I can't hear anything that's going on in this cutscene.
Hold on. I don't have a clue. By the time I noticed something was wrong, the entire city was infested with
Zombies. Zombies bad. Oh, a thing just happened. My entire screen freaked out. I don't know what that was about. I think that was just because it... Okay, here's a problem. You might have noticed how, like, you're getting, like, no signal type things. That happens whenever, like, the signal cuts a little bit to a different thing. So, like, when there's... swapping between games and like when there's like pre-rendered stuff versus stuff in engines. Wow, that was really loud. So audio clips in this weirdly balanced, but like whenever the screen transitions like that, I'm actually getting like a blank screen. I can't see like there. You could see like an instant transition between the cutscene and in gameplay. I didn't get that. I actually had a screen of blank. So this is actually going to be really hard to play while streaming at the very least. In this capacity, and that's just by the way it was designed on the N64 and how my equipment's talking to it. So it's not a great... Okay. I guess I'm still running, unless I have to... Ooh. Okay, got some more ammo. Again, I'm seeing a black screen right now, but... Yep, can't see what I'm doing. So good, that's a problem. So basically, whenever the camera changes, or we hit a cutscene, or I pick up an object, I'm basically blind. So... I need to go through there. I can't see what I'm doing. Oh god. Yeah, this is basically unplayable the way that this is set up with my equipment. It's not a problem with the game or the cartridge per se. It's just a matter of how it's like talking to my equipment, but I think this is interesting all the same. But this is working on an N64 in any capacity, I think, is very impressive. The fact that they managed to cut enough to actually like cram this on a single cartridge. Very impressive. Well done, Capcom. You did a good thing with this. But where's the Sega Saturn version that's always going to be the best one? Like classic Resident Evil. So, can I stand up here unaffected by these jerks? Because I'd very much like to. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but I need you out of my way now. Oh god, you're getting up faster than I would have liked you to. Run! Oh no. Get off. Oh god, I'm about to die. Okay, yep, you're dying. Do you have any food? You have no food. You got some bullets. That's useful. And there's a cafe. Maybe you can find some food there. Oh, I want nothing to do with that, thanks. Uh-oh. I think this game is technically impressive. And I'm sure it would be a fun game for fans of Resident Evil 2. I'm not sure this is necessarily how I'd want to play this game, though. I'm also not sure I necessarily like Resident Evil that much. Again, I'd be more interested in Deep Fear, which is like the weird knockoff that the Saturn got because they got snubbed Resident Evil 2. But it's interesting, And the fact that this exists in as relatively playable a fashion as this is, I think that's impressive. And I can't see anything, and neither can you. I apologize, but that's just how this kind of is. I've never actually played Resident Evil 2. I should probably sit down and actually do it. I wouldn't do it on this, or this way. This would be awkward as hell to try and do, but... Yeah, I see that you're a person there. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have a stab at the floor motion. So I think we're probably going to call this right about here. But, you know what? I can see myself playing more of that, and if nothing else, that's very technically impressive, And aside from the fact it's got an inordinate amount of time to load initially, and to be fair, that's because Resident Evil is a 64 megabyte game, compared to the rest, which are 32, 12, 8. It's a huge-ass game. The fact that it got there in a working state on the N64 is impressive. I cannot understate that enough. Finally, with Road Rash 64. I'm not super familiar with Road Rash. I played Road Rash, I think on SMS on one of my multi-carts, but I'm not super familiar with Road Rash. It's a series I'd really like to play more because I know it's so beloved. Even though it does feel, as I understand, kind of budgety. It's expansion pack enhanced. Cool. Let's do the big game. A-E-I-O-U, sometimes Y. So let's see. Ooh, that's kind of stylish. What do we got? Okay, so go race. But I'm not super familiar with Road Rash. It's a series I'd like to play more of to get a bit of a handle on. What is Accelerate? Accelerate is Z. Okay. That's a choice someone made. Ooh, there's a dedicated wheelie button. I'm not sure how effective that is. Okay, so punch and kick is C buttons. That's a choice someone made as well. Okay, I just smacked you. This game isn't too bad feeling. Like, the N64 was without a doubt a system that absolutely had a bunch of mediocre, like, racing games. I don't think it would be hard to be another one of those. I think Revolt was decent. I think Aero Gauge was definitely worth playing. I think this is kind of fun, honestly. I don't think it has quite the budget charm of the earlier Road Rash games from what little I've played of them. Well, this isn't too bad. I am inclined to agree, Caneless. Doom 64, if nothing else, Doom 64 was the best FPS on the bloody thing. F-Zero X was definitely a very, very good game, too. I quite like those games. I'm inclined to agree that that's the best F-Zero. It had one of the worst RPG libraries ever. Which, for me, kind of sucked, but, you know. For a system that was mostly mediocre racing games, it had some stuff that was less so. I'm not sure that this would be like a great racing game. I'm not even sure I'd 100% classify it as a racing game, but it's interesting. And I don't think this is a bad game, certainly. Crystal Chronicles was on the GameCube. Was not on the N64. The N64 quite famously never got a Final Fantasy. They got snubbed for the PlayStation to get Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, Tactics Advance, and Vagrant Story, if you count that. Of which maybe 2 of those I would consider good games myself, but I'm notoriously very anti-Final Fantasy 7. I get that I'm the weirdo in that situation, but I know how that is, you know, I forget all the stuff ever, so I get that for sure, for sure. Yeah, the N64, if we don't count Japanese releases, only got 4 RPGs, debatably. We got Paper Mario, which was objectively the best of the bunch. We had the terrible Quest 64, which was something we did last week. We did Aiden Chronicles, which was a game that aspired to be Quest 64. And we had Hybrid Heaven, which was debatably an RPG, but it was an interesting thing all the same. That said, if we count the Japanese games, if we count the Japanese library of RPGs, there was a lot of really cool stuff in there. There's like Robopon, which we'll probably get to next time we do an N64 video. I think that's the next game on the list. It had a bunch of other stuff. It had Onagai Monsters, which I think we've already passed, and it wasn't on here. Wonder Project J, if you count that as an RPG, was on there as well. Final Fantasy VI was the best Final Fantasy by far. I like to affectionately call it Final Fantasy the last good one, because the only one after that that really ever appealed to me was Tactics Advance. But 6 I really liked because it was a big ensemble piece. Whereas 7 was about 3 characters, one of which was in your party for any meaningful period of time. I disliked how about the characters Final Fantasy VII actually was. Final Fantasy V I think gets a lot of shit, but that game was great. That's the one that really, really nailed down the class system. Plus it introduced the Blue Mage, which is like the best class ever. Did I get pulled over? No, I just... Battery 7. Interesting. Let's see if I can buy a better bike. Gauntlet wasn't bad on the N64. The problem with Gauntlet on the N64, well, I wouldn't call it an RPG so much as an arcade game, but there was a bunch of different versions of that game on other things that were better. I can't afford any of these bikes. But yeah, Gauntlet on the N64 wasn't bad by any means or measure. I don't really understand the weapon swapping. Like, C up swaps fist for pipe up there, but it doesn't seem like that actually changes my weapon in any meaningful way. I think the number next to it's my placement? But I feel like I'm in first, but it said I was in third, so who knows. Maybe it's just wildly imprecise. I'm not 100% sure about this. But it's not bad. I've played worse driving games on the N64 for sure. Whoa! Let's not get knocked off our bikes again. We can help it. I will say this is a damn sight better than, what was it, Razor Freestyle Scooter that we played like an hour ago. That game was just so god-awful. Apart from the worst game I've played on the system, mind you, but I mean, it was terrible. Oh, what's really exciting is next time we should be able to do Rocket Robot, which is like the best platformer on the system. It's a shame that no one really played it other than me, but you know, we'll be able to do that next time. That's exciting. Bonk! Hey, we play second, we get $500 plus $30 combat bonus. Nice. Race 3. I kind of like this game, honestly. It's not great, but I could see myself playing more of this. I'm not 100% sure I understand how the whole... That guy just got knocked off the ground. Yeah, the combat just seems to be spam any C button and it just kind of figures it out from there. Which, to be fair, I think works. It's not great, but I mean, it's a better combat system than the Rage Rumble thing was. And that was a fighting game. Yeah, I agree. Gauntlet did have a decent amount of challenge to it, for sure. I just think there's better versions. They run better, they have more stuff to it, more levels, more secrets, all that sort of stuff. So, you know, if you like those games, try and track down, like, the GameCube version, because you're going to get so much more. I think I kind of went into it when I made a video on my YouTube channel about it forever ago. I think I kind of went in expecting a lot more than I was getting, and because of that, I ended up feeling a little bit let down by it. But the fact is, it's a really solid arcade game. For sure. I don't know who this checkerboard guy is, but he bugs me. I don't like you, Mr. Checkerboard Shirt. The combat feels really full. Well, not even floaty. It just it's not good at like making it feel like you're actually making contact with anything. Like it's hard to really get any feedback for if you're actually making contact with your opponent. That's not so good. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Let's just stay ahead of the pack if we can. I'm still not sure what the whole... Like, I can press C up and it swaps between fist and the pipe, but I don't have the pipe out, even though it says I seem to. I think the red bar right next to it is my health, so we don't want to let that get dropped. Whoa! Okay, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. And I think we're in first. Our health is recovered. We're doing okay. I think that number at the bottom that's decreasing is distance to the end. So, well known about 100 whatever units of whatever that is. There we go. Yep, that's distance to end. Okay, cool. Starting to get the feel for this. I definitely think that thus far tonight, out of the games we've played, this is probably the one I'm liking the most. Let's see if we can... Okay, I was gonna say let's see if we can buy a new bike, but the menu's a bit stuttery. It is fun that we got to play a little bit of Resident Evil 2, but the way it displays my equipment, I don't think this would be the way I'd want to play it. But I will say that that was not a bad game by any means. It's just the way I have to play it is certainly not great. Still, you know, it's been fun exploring this card tonight. I got to play Revolt. That wasn't too bad. I think that, once again, that's a game that could be played on a different console, and if it wasn't as stuttery and had a solid frame rate, it would be infinitely better, but Revolt was pretty fun as well. That Rat Attack game was interesting. I did like Rat Attack. I thought that was... It wasn't a great game, but it was interesting enough that it was worth a play, I think. And if you could get it for cheap, it wouldn't be bad. But I've said that about a few games. Like that Power Ranger game we played last week, that game wasn't really all that quality, but it was interesting what it tried to do. And if it wasn't so ungodly expensive, I would have actually gone out and gotten a copy of it. Did I play Forsaken? Yes, I did. I did that forever ago. As this cartridge is set up alphabetically. But I did play Forsaken, and aside from the fact it was a little disorienting and hard to figure out where you were going, it was a pretty solid game from what I remember. I like that we beat the level getting flung off our bike, and somehow that still worked. Let's go to the bike shop. And let's see. Oh, I can't afford any of this stuff. We can almost, though. Okay. One more race, and then we should be able to go buy a new bike. Let's do it. We're actually about maybe 80% the way through the cartridge at this point. I mean, aside from, like, the cartridge in its default state, anyway. Like, I could add stuff to it, but the whole point is to see what's on it by default. Although I am curious to test out the ability to play, like, custom stuff on it. So I think once I'm done the whole, like, initial default library of it, I'm going to load up some custom stuff and try it. I got this from eBay. It's a very expensive multi-cart, though. It's like $100. And I got this a couple of years ago, but it's a weird cartridge because it's marketed out to be a multi-cart. Hence why I'm doing it for my multi-cart series. But it's really a repurposed EverDrive, basically. Like, it even has, like, the EverDrive instruction documents on the cartridge that, like, name it by, like, they literally just ripped the EverDrive instructions. So, like, you'll take a look at it and you'll see, like, the image of an EverDrive. It'll just be addressed as an EverDrive. It's literally just a modded EverDrive, basically, with a big angry red cartridge shell to it, but it's a cartridge that I quite like. I'm not sure it's my favorite multi-card. It's definitely up there. I do have some really good Famicom ones. I've got a really good couple of Game Boy ones as well, though. And I do have a couple of Super Nintendo ones. I should probably try and do something with them at some point. The problem is, though, if I go back to like Super Nintendo, Genesis, or NES, then I have to go and use my Retron 3, which has terrible audio, and I'm not even sure it works anymore. I gotta replace it. So maybe I'll try and find something that can replicate those systems a little bit more faithfully, because the audio on those are just terrible. And the problem is my better equipment doesn't physically run off cartridges, so I'm either stuck using SD with bad audio with stuff like that, or I can use HDMI, but it won't run cartridges, so multi-carts are out. So trying to find a balance for equipment is a little challenging for sure, but... Oh! Okay, so if I just tap it, what that does is, that's basic, but if I hold it, then that takes it out. So you have to basically hold it to use your weapons. That's interesting. And then pressing C up swaps what you can do for your hold attack. So that's a little obtuse, but that does make things a lot easier knowing that that's the case. I think we came in second there. Battery, 23 accidents caused 4. This is funny. Okay, so let's go to... We qualified. Let's buy a bike that's a little bit better. We could buy... Can't buy that one just yet. We could buy that, but I don't like that one. Yeah, I think we gotta buy the firecracker. No, I'm not gonna join you. Welcome to level 2, and there's some kind of code that I'm supposed to assume get back here. Okay, I see. So when you buy a better bike, you basically kind of have to restart. That's a weird choice. Oh, hey, I've got a different weapon now. So now I've got like a police club. Interesting. Okay. So basically different bikes give you effectively like a different series of missions to go through, but you have to start over. I don't necessarily like that. But I will say that, you know, I don't think this game is bad. I'm not sure I'd say it's great. But again, you know, it's one of those N64 games. I think if you could get it for a decent price, like Aero Gauge, or like that really cool hoverboarding game I saw that's way too expensive, or hell, that Power Rangers game, you know, if you could get it for a decent price, I could definitely see sinking some time into this. Ooh, 4X. Does that mean I grow 4 arms and can smack 4 different people with clubs now, or does that just mean I get 4 times the points? I don't really know. Also, someone's coming up close to me. Whoop, my 4X, it's going away. But I came in first, hooray! Alright. I got 3 battery. So let's go back to the bike shop. I'm curious. Nope, I don't seem to be able to access the other bikes. So it creates like a linear path of upgraded bikes effectively. That's interesting. So there's no way to go back and try the other races. So like I think with the first bike I had effectively unlocked like an important race that said I was qualified for. And then I jumped to this bike because I could afford it and I figured it'd be an upgrade so I could do the special race with a better bike, but that just sent me to like a new set of races. That's peculiar. That's not the way I would have designed this myself, but I will say once you get down like the actual weapon, the idea that your other C buttons are effectively just attack, but hold down specifically C right will unlock your weapon. But only C right and only if you hold it down, that's confusing more than anything. Oh, okay, so race 1, we qualified. Go back, race 2, race 3. Okay, so I'm confused as to how this game works. I don't really get the progression to it, but I seem to be getting like mixed information as to what unlocked what and stuff, but either way, you know, I don't think this is a bad game. I wouldn't say it's as good as like Arrow Gauge, and Arrow Gauge is a fairly average kind of game, but I liked it. I liked it all the same. And similarly, you know, if you could get this for cheap, I think it'd be pretty decent. But, you know, I think that about the other Road Rash games. I think, in spite of the fact I haven't really played the Road Rash games, I would like them. Because I do like the kind of cheesiness it's all about. It's like, it's fun, corny violence, and kind of a fast-paced racer. And while none of it's expertly well done, you know, it's decent enough that it keeps it interesting. And if you're willing to go in for the sort of cheese humor of it, you know, you could have a lot of fun with it. But if you're here looking for, like, the most high-quality experience and you want to take this seriously, I think you're missing the point pretty hard about Road Rash in general. Oh, I thought I got knocked out by the police officer, but I guess I did not. When you can just drive past at full speed someone tumbling around on the ground, that's a special moment. Same like if you come in first, racing across the finish line, flipping off your bike. You know, again, you've done something special. So who cares if it's got the top presentation or whatever, you know, it's that kind of experience that definitely makes something like this a memorable and fun, silly time. And I definitely think this is, I think one to keep your eye out for. Also, that animation just made it worthwhile right there. I don't know what the hell that was about, but that made it worthwhile. Okay. So, I do believe that is 10 games we have played tonight. Let's go back to our games list and just make sure. Go, 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 go. Okay, so we did Ready to Rumble Boxing, Revolt. Based on these past 5, would I recommend it? Well, Revolt, I think, would be a pretty solid game. I don't think this version is the version to play because it is very inconsistent in its frame rate, and it feels very, very slidey because of it, but I do think it's a pretty solid game. I would recommend playing any other version of this. I think there is a PC version. I know there's a Dreamcast version. There's probably a PlayStation version, but this game was pretty fun. I just don't think this would be the version to play. Ready to Rumble and Ready to Rumble 2, I don't really get these games. Like, I don't really particularly like the all-C button fighting control scheme for these games, but I also just straight up don't get the difficulty curve on it. Like, if you play on easy, based on what I experienced, it's basically you can't lose. But if you set it to medium, suddenly the game's reading your inputs and gets priority over you. And then it's just kind of ungodly hard. So I think this is a game that needs to have its balance tweaked to be really enjoyable. Same with Ready to Rumble 2. But if you could get like a friend to play this with you, you'd probably have a lot of fun. But as it stands, if you're trying to play it, you're mostly getting the arcade experience, which means you're getting a very difficult game. Which makes it not necessarily fun if you don't stand a chance against the AI. Resident Evil 2 is, if nothing else, very, very, very incredibly impressive that it exists on the N64 in any capacity. The fact that it plays as well as it does is impressive. I did a terrible showing of this, but granted, my equipment did not seem to like the swapping of signals in between, like picking up items and transitioning between areas. So this is probably not the way I would play it, but part of that's just because I'm streaming and my equipment just didn't like that so much. But it's impressive it's here, and it was fun for what I did play of it. I'd like to play more of it. Probably won't play it on the N64, certainly not for a stream though. Yeah. Also, where's the Sega Saturn version? Because we all know it would be the best version. Alas, all we have is Deep Fear, which is actually also quite good. Road Rash 64. I'm surprised about this game, because I've heard nothing but bad things about it. And I know the Road Rash games tend to be sort of a love it or hate it kind of thing. I kind of liked it. I'm not going to say it's great, but if it was cheap, I could see myself sitting down and giving this game a greater shot. Still, the progression was weird, but I did like it. Anyway, based on these past 5 games, I would say that, yeah, I would recommend it. I think the Ready to Rumble games need to be some balance tweaked pretty heavily, and Revolt I wouldn't play on this to save its life, but these games are ostensibly fun, and I would recommend them on this. Anyway, next time we're going to take a look at Roadster's Robopon 64. This game is really, really quite cool. I've got a boxed copy of this. It's genuinely interesting, and eventually we're going to get to do Rocket Robot on Wheels, the best platformer on this N64. Given how I'm kind of not able to do my Skies stream tomorrow because I'm still swapping out my N60 or my Wii, I might do this again tomorrow. I'm not sure. We'll see. I've got a bunch of other stuff on the back burners for my YouTube channel, but we'll see. But anyway, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. It's currently 6 a.m. I'm having trouble speaking, and I should go to bed. But thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And if you want to see more, follow the stream to know we go live, because we try and stream as often as possible. Usually 3 or 4 times a week. This week's a little bit funny, but we'll see what we can do about tomorrow. You might want to check out and subscribe to my YouTube channel to see everything else I do, which is a lot of stuff. Just yesterday I put out something. It was my Tinykin thing. Yeah, I put up my Tinykin thing. I might put out something tomorrow as well. And I've got a review that should be up in 2 or 3 days, just depending on the processing time of YouTube, but we'll see. And if you really want to make my day, check out the show's PayPal or Patreon. Support the show any way you can so that I can continue to do what I do to the best of my ability, which in this case is do a terrible showing of some pretty interesting games and, have some fun. Plus, we got to do Rayman and Rat Attack and all that, and Rat Attack was interesting. That's what this whole thing's about. It's about seeing what weird stuff is on this bizarre pirate multi-cart thing that's not quite that, and I've been having a lot of fun with this, and I look forward to being able to play some more games that I am really excited about. So yeah, I might be back tomorrow with Rocket, because I want to play Rocket, damn it. I love that game. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, Internet.